live. No, not really. We're not actually live. Welcome to the Unsure on Air podcast. I am your host, Nate Sparks, with my co-host, Elijah Katzian here, a.k.a. Unsure Music creator and founder. What can you say for us, Elijah?
Howdy. Unsure. Well, we're a new artist upcoming, and you should listen to our music on all major streaming services. But enough about us. It's time to talk some music.
So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing on this podcast. We're basically just going to be having a little conversation here between us about some music. Today we're going to talk about the top 10 music, and then we're going to have some little segments in between each of the songs where we're just going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to tell you about our opinion on the music and the music industry as a whole. Pop music, country music, rap music, all that kind of stuff. So I want to get it started with our top 10. So the first song we're going to look at is by Ariana Grande, and it's called Positions. So we're going to take a listen to this song really quick, and we're going to cut it out so that we don't get a copyright strike on our podcast, of course. And then we're just going to tell you right after we listen to it what our immediate thoughts are. This is all going to happen right after, and so you'll see pretty much exactly right after we listen to the song. So let's have a listen, shall we? All right, so we just listened to Positions by Ariana Grande, and let's talk about this. I want to start off with the good, because I don't want to be completely negative. There is a lot of people that are going to like this song, I think, personally.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, especially since it's already number one on the hot charts. Who are we looking at is the target demographic for this song? Who do you think is the audience that's listening to this song?
I would guess people our age, high schoolers, college age, I think it's a lot of it's just a lot of relationship stuff, It's just your basic relationship song.
I agree.
Which I think is why it probably hits well with a lot of people. And I'm not gonna lie, that beginning hook is pretty nice.
Yeah, I want to talk about the beat too. I like the beat, honestly. I'm just gonna be straight up with you. I think that it's very pop, and it's, she gets across what she wants to do. She's trying to sell this song. She's trying to make this song fun, relatable, and upbeat for kids to listen to. And I think that that's definitely what she's got with this beat here. I think it's really good.
And it's just, like you said, it's a very pop beat, and it's very catchy. It's it's punchy, and it's upbeat. It's not in a minor key, which I think is interesting. Like, it's very upbeat. I mean, it is a little bit, but it's a little bit in a minor key, but it's not bad. And it's enjoyable. I think it's fun to hear an upbeat song, because a lot of songs that get popular are hype music, and so this one's hype in a different way. It's upbeat hype, whereas you usually hear hype music in like angry keys, because you want to get pumped, but aggressive, And I think that's not a bad thing. It's just how it is.
The other thing I would say about it is I'm gonna kind of go into this. I think is good is the message here is more upbeat, and it's not necessarily a depressing song, you would say, which I think is getting very popular nowadays.
Yeah.
A lot of people listen to depressing music. I know all kinds of people, even when they're not going through rough times. It's just, people like to listen to depressing music at the moment. And so I think it's good that there's a song that's not depressing and that's very popular, of course. But that being aside, that's all the good that I really got out of it. Do you have anything else?
I mean, like you said, it's a fun song to listen to when you don't put any thought into it. So, and that's what I'm talking about here is, so I'm on Genius Lyrics here, and I'm looking at the lyrics, and it's funny because, so I think this is a big problem with a lot of pop music is there is just horrible lyrics, and
I agree.
And nobody is looking at them. Nobody cares because they're like, oh, that beat's fun. It's fun to listen to. You kind of bump to it or whatever.
Yeah.
And when you're in the car, it's like, why think about what
Exactly
it's talking
what it's
about?
saying. Yeah.
But here's what it says. So the lyrics are, in the chorus, it says, switching them positions for you, cooking in the kitchen, and I'm in the bedroom. I'm in the Olympics. I'm just through hoops.
Jumping.
Jumping through hoops. No, my love, infinite. Nothing I wouldn't do that I won't do, switching for you.
So what is that? Can you tell us what that exactly means? Because you could interpret this many different ways. I think there's about one way.
Genius points out positions has a double meaning in this context. So she's saying in the relationship she has multiple positions. She's one person, she's cooking in the kitchen, and she's a lover or whatever. But then it also has a horrible sexual context, which is to me just like appalling that people find this.
And I think it's like you said, people aren't listening to it. Now, before we go really any further into this, because we're going to also talk about this a little later into the show about what this song is talking about here, I do want to point out that our views, personally, we're both Baptist. We were raised Christians. Our families are Christian, and so we have a lot of the values there. And so I want to say that a lot of stuff we have, we draw our opinions from the Bible, and so I really want to just let that out before we continue into this any further, because we're going to say some things that maybe you don't completely agree with, but we just want to talk about what we personally feel. So you want to talk? What I have here is I have two words on my paper, and that is
I saw that. I was like, I don't know what that
revealing skin, and that's what it's about. I personally did not watch the music video when I played this for us, because I just knew that it was gonna have way too much stuff that I don't need to see. I'm going to see way more of Ariana Grande than I need to see. And so I decided to click on the lyric video, and the lyric video had almost nudity in it. It was like very revealing shots of her. I think it's the album cover, sorta.
Yeah, the album cover is not the best either.
But it was just like, I didn't even expect to see that in the lyric video, and behind the lyrics was pictures of her body in revealing clothing.
Well, here's what I want to talk
that.
about Ariana Grande for a second, because I think she's kind of an interesting person to follow, because I remember before she got into music even a little bit, and like my dad was talking about watching her in some Disney. I think it's funny, my dad watches Disney Channel TV shows, but
it was Victorious.
No, it was Nickelodeon.
Yeah, it was Victorious.
Oh, she was in Victorious?
Yeah, that was her
she
first.
was in something called Sam and Cat.
Yeah, that was after Victorious.
Yeah, that's what my dad was watching that. But, it's just funny because it's like, oh, she was in this kids show.
Yeah.
In Normal, and I was like, she has a really high voice, and I just thought that was funny. But now she made a whole music career out of her high voice, and I think that's the funny thing, is to stay popular, she has to do things that maybe she didn't do in the first place, and now it's totally flipped, because she was like a high schooler, and now she's like an adult, and it's a little messed up, I feel like.
And her style got very sexualized as she got older. I don't remember exactly what the song was, but I remember a song that was that she made that was kind of the first one I heard from her that was just completely about sex. Like the whole song was just pretty much about sex, and it was like not straight out, but it was very hidden, and so a lot of people thought it was just a regular pop song, but really it was completely about terrible things. I can't remember what it was. I want to say it had Nicki Minaj in it, because
was it Bang Bang or whatever?
No. I remember that one, but
Because that was like her first one, I feel like.
Yeah.
That was the one that I was like, oh, she's doing music now?
Well, but that one wasn't really terrible. It was the one, it was about like riding a bike or something. And I was like, okay, I know what this is really trying to get at here.
Yeah.
Side to Side. It was called Side to Side.
I think I might vaguely
The chorus
remember that.
said, "You got me walking side to side." It was, everybody knows what it was really about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I remember that one. Yeah.
So I want to talk about why I think that this is an important topic. And the thing is that that's how these songs are today. All pop songs are about sex. That's really it.
Well, it's either money or sex.
Yes, and I mean we've seen this a lot from other different areas, but I remember a time when pop songs, there were a lot that were about sex. I won't say that they haven't always like that, but I remember a time when there was songs about other stuff, about being a high schooler or about stuff like that wasn't totally influencing people.
Yeah, and when you look back at like the All American Rejects era, like it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was more about love songs. It wasn't about like sex.
Very
explicitly.
true. Very true.
And now we've kind of switched. Like it's still about love songs, but in a different sense.
Well, and like Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is a great example. She was very popular before kind of this switch. She did a lot of songs where she was. It was just talking about love and her and a boyfriend, or it could be, your husband or something like
and
that.
And then you just see her gradually.
And she just changes and turns into.
Yeah.
And it's what people want. It's what sells.
Yeah.
It's what sells. Like, this is the number one song on the top charts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically all I really have
number one
for this song. This is number one on the top charts.
On the Apple one, I have it as number 4.
Yeah, on Billboard.com charts, this is number 1. So
have you heard of Dakiti? That's number 1 on the Apple Music one. I don't know what that is.
No, I just looked at the Billboard because it's that's like all stuff, not just listening from Apple Music, iTunes. There's other Spotify and stuff that get involved in this. So that's really all I have to say about this song. I think there's some good things to it. It's not completely just a trash song, but there's a lot of bad influence. Ariana Grande has a lot of influence, especially to younger girls, and I think that you got to be careful with what you're listening to. Make sure you know what it's talking about.
And a lot of these can easily like affect the way you're thinking, and you don't realize it. I think that's the problem with music. Like nowadays, is the lyrics are so bad, and we pretend like we're not listening to that. We're just listening to the music, but I agree. It gets in your head. You can hear it.
All right, so we're going to move on to number 2. The second one is from country music star Luke Combs. It's called Forever After All, so we're going to take a listen to that real quick, and we'll be back. All right, we're back after listening to Forever After All by Luke Combs. I've listened to a lot of Luke Combs songs in the past. I think he makes good country. He's not really a country guy, I think. I think he probably... I don't really know him, but he does kind of have a little bit of a city boy country accent. It almost feels like it's not quite a real country accent.
Well, and the thing that struck me, you mentioned he's like sort of city boy accent. And like that's the thing that strikes me is it's just typical country lyrics to me.
Yes.
Like it's something that you hear in a lot of country songs, like I got my family, my beer, or whatever, It's like... Yeah. Okay.
So it starts off with a cold beer's got 12 ounces, a good truck's got maybe 300,000. So we got beer and trucks in the first 2 lines. That's probably 7 seconds into the song. So that makes grounds for a perfect country song.
That's very accurate.
Yeah. So, but I think I like this song.
I agree. I mean, okay, so I really like the way he's singing, and I think he's an enjoyable singer to listen to because he sings like with you can tell he's putting his heart in there, and he's like singing all out. And I think it's funny that he can do that with such typical lyrics. But
Yeah.
but my biggest problem is I just found it repetitive. And maybe I think that might be my problem with the country genre in general, is I tend to find it repetitive. And I do think there wasn't a lack of them sweetening it. Like, there was plenty of fun stuff in there, like that cool, like the second verse they added this piano part that was different than the first one, and it's just like, hey, that's cool to hear. But like I said, it's just repetitive. I felt like there's not a lack of new things. It's just a lack of, I don't know, excitement, energy in there. I feel like it's the same.
I agree. I think that's sort of Luke Combs' style, is not to be real flashy. I think we came from listening to a pop song to country is kind of weird too, right off the bat.
That's true.
But I do agree that it is kind of boring. The music is not really anything special.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot like his other songs.
Yeah,
I've never listened to his songs.
And I think that's the thing about country to me, is I always hear these long guitar, string sounding, and then it's just like a strumming sound, and it's like I could make this in my garage. I don't know.
and I told Elijah this during our listening to it, is that I love how Luke Combs, it's not every song, but a lot of his songs he talks about the strings on his guitar. I think that's funny that he just finds a way to add that in every song. I'm not saying that's a bad line. I just think it's funny how he says it. And so it's not really anything new for me from Luke Combs here. But I do have one good thing to say about it. I like that they're talking about relationships lasting. I think that's a good message.
Yeah, I think the nice thing about country music in general is the lyrics tend to be cleaner than pop music.
Yeah.
They tend to be more family-centered, or like
yes, I totally agree.
Long-lasting relationships. I could do without the beer and the trucks all the time. But.
Yeah, that's the formula, but that is one thing good I'll say about this. So, to be honest with you, I don't think this is a terrible song. It does kind of surprise me that it's on the number 2 spot, is what I will say, because
that's true.
It does feel a lot like other Luke Combs songs, and I think Luke Combs has better songs. I know it's new, but number 2, I could see this being 15 to 20.
Yeah.
On the list. I think there's some other flashier songs. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's at number 2. It's cool that he's getting up there on the charts with this song, but overall I didn't think it was a terrible song. It's just kind of the same thing I've heard from him before. You have anything else you want to add to that?
No, not really. Yeah.
So I want to go to the next song real quick. We're going to go to the 3rd song on our top Billboard charts, and that is Mood by 24K Golden. And so we're getting into our first rap song, and so I want to say that if we're probably going to mess up names. I mean, that's just going to happen when we're talking about it. So if there's a way you say different rappers' names, everybody says stuff differently, and you can never really tell. But we're going to take a listen to Mood by 24K Golden. I have listened to this song. I don't think you've listened to this song before, so let's get into it real quick. All right, we're back after listening to Mood by 24K Golden. This was a pretty simple song. Like I said, I've listened to this one before, and I like the beat to it. I like, putting it on in the car and listening to it. It's a good song. It's definitely made for TikToks, wouldn't you say? I think it's very TikTok-esque. It's
I could see that.
I honestly think they made this song probably with that intention in mind, because They really know what they were looking for here. It's pretty straightforward. The chorus is really simple and it's repeated several times throughout the song. The rapping is nothing crazy. I'd say this wasn't really a rap song, a full rap song.
I just see it as a typical. I see it as a typical rap song. I mean, it's
modern
yeah,
rap.
Modern rap. I mean, there's some rap songs that are like, yeah, this is rap, and then I feel like this is just like what's happened because of SoundCloud and like
pop rap, almost.
Yeah, right. And I don't think it's. I don't love it. I don't think it's a horrible thing, but I think we could be doing better. But
let me tell you this here. I think this is not a bad song completely. It's got a nice beat to it. It's fun to listen to. Yeah. That's about it. There's not a whole lot of substance here, and so if you're looking for substance, you're just not going to get that with this song.
Similar point with it's similar to Positions in that sense. It's like it's fun.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to listen to it all the time.
It's an upbeat song. It's just not.
And the lyrics are not great.
It clearly didn't take a whole lot of time to make. It's pretty simple, but that's not a terrible thing. I could see people liking this song. I could see people listening to this in their car.
Who's this by again?
It's by 24 karat golden, 24K golden. I don't know.
24 karat?
It looks like 24 karat golden is what I would say.
24 karat magic.
Yeah. Okay. He's going into Bruno Mars songs, but that's real music. Right? That's really all that we have for this one. There's not a whole lot to talk about.
Yeah,
it's not a crazy, really influential song, but
yeah, I don't feel like it's. They talk about, and if you look at a music history, you'll hear about the Tin Pan Alley, and it's when people would get together to recreate genres of music and essentially pump out just like just pump out this type of music so that they can make money. And I think that's essentially what SoundCloud is, and what this song kind of represents to me is it's a fun song, and it's okay to listen to, but it's just typical, and people pumped it out. It's just gonna be
it's made to make money.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it does that successfully. That's what it's made for. It's made, like I said, for TikTok. It's very TikTok-esque. So that's pretty much all we have on it. Let's move on to the fourth song on our billboards, and that is Laugh Now, Cry Later by Drake. So we're going to take a listen to Laugh Now, Cry Later by Drake.
So one of the things I noticed right off the bat is first of all, I want to say I don't actually mind the song and I don't like Drake, but I don't actually mind this song. But one thing I noticed, and I feel like is a big problem, is it reminds me completely of that J. Cole song. What is it?
The trumpets in there.
What's that?
Middle Child. Middle Child has that.
It reminds me of Middle Child, and I think that's a problem because it sort of feels like he took that idea and just wanted to use it. Because I think it's a thing you see a lot in beats. It's like, oh, hey, somebody did this cool. Like Drake did that. He used that like record scratching sound or whatever in what's the one that played at the Super Bowl,
Oh, that was by Drake?
Oh wait, no, not that one. Sorry, the other one. It doesn't matter. He used like this weird record scratch sound, and then everybody else started using that same thing. And so like he's influential in that sense, but to me it feels like he sort of lost his influence and take from everybody else to do that. But I want to say one thing, and you complain about this, is Drake never sings on beat, and this time he did. He was okay. He wasn't bad. I didn't think he did terrible.
So I have said this I've complained before. Anybody who knows me that has heard me talk about Drake knows that I don't really like Drake. Majority of Drake's songs, especially the popular ones, are terrible in my opinion. He just never can seem to sing on beat. And I think that's his style. And some people say, well, that's just his style. When I listen to a song, I like everything to mesh up and be just right. And it feels like he just threw a beat on and his headphones had a little delay in them while he started rapping. Because he just never seems to be on beat. And I think you're right that he does stay on beat in this song.
Generally, I mean, there's a few spots that I was like...
right before the chorus, he says, I know that they at the crib going crazy down bad. What they had didn't last. When he sings this line, he just like throws it up out of his mouth. And it's like there's no reason to or rhyme to why he says it in the order that he says it. It's just there. It's just words coming out of his mouth.
I think he's doing better though, because when he started out, he was the epitome of mumble rap. I
do like some of his older stuff. I think what you're talking about is his first really, really popular albums.
God's Plan was the one I was talking about.
Yes, when God's Plan came out, I agree. He had some struggles with that one too, and it just...
He just mumbles through things. I don't know. And I think that's what I'm saying. I think he's doing better though at actually saying words in a way that you can understand what he's saying. Because he used to not do that at all. And you're like, what are you saying?
Now, let's talk about who is it in this song that's featured? Lil Durk. Lil Durk.
What a name.
Lil Durk. I want to say Lil Durk has no talent, is what I want to say. But that's rather mean and pretty negative, and I've been pretty negative on this song, so I will say that Lil Durk makes a sound like people enjoy, very mumble rap-esque.
Well, and we talked about this earlier. This is a very typical rap song, and it's made to make money. I think they do a good job at making money.
Yeah.
Making this music.
Yes. Lil Durk's part, I can't imagine, took much more than 5 minutes to make. And I think that they auto-tune him sometimes, and then other times they just forget to auto-tune him.
Hey, gotta give that auto-tune guy some credit, man. He's probably working so hard.
He does make Lil Durk sound like he has a little bit of talent, like he really should be there, but Lil Durk shouldn't be there. This is not... Drake, I think Drake has issues, but Drake has talent. I will say Drake's a good singer. I think Drake can be a good singer at sometimes. I don't think he's a good rapper, but I think that Drake can sing, and some of his songs don't sound terrible when he sings. Then he just throws somebody random in there, and I think it's cool that he's probably trying to get this guy to be more famous. Yeah. If you're in a Drake song, you're going to get a lot of fame out of that, but it's so bad. The sound is so bad that it just... I don't know why he has that. I don't know why they think it's good to leave this part in.
I want to say something like, I doubt this guy's going to get popular because his name's Lil Durk. And how many people are named Lil anything?
Yeah, that's true.
I can't find this guy because his name is everybody else's rap name.
Yes.
So, there's no creativity in that. It's just search Lil Durk. Oh, wait, Lil what? Lil Jon?
Yeah. Somebody... I mean, it's just...
I'm sure there's somebody named Lil Dork.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be hard.
He's one letter away from Lil Dork. I give this song... I'm going to rate this song. I didn't rate any of the other songs, but I want to rate this song. I give this song a 5 out of 10 with Drake's part, I think. I think you're going to give it a little higher rating than that. I would say it's a 5 out of 10 with Drake's part. I say Lil Durk drops it to about a 4 out of 10 or a 3 out of 10. all it's got going for it, for me personally, is the beat. And then, like you brought up, the beat seems to be almost stolen. Sounds very similar to other songs. And so, I can't find a whole lot that I like about this song. But what do you think?
If I were to rate it, I would rate it a cheeseburger out of McDonald's fries.
A cheeseburger out of McDonald's fries, or just the cheeseburger out of the meal?
No, I'm saying
he doesn't get the full
rating
meal.
Scale is the McDonald's fries, a cheeseburger.
Oh, okay, I get you.
The rating, right? I never order a cheeseburger.
So there you have it. Head of Unsure Music, Elijah Katzian, would not order this song at a McDonald's if it were a cheeseburger.
A McChicken, on the other hand.
So let's move on to our final song of the Billboard Top 10 that we're going to listen to today. That's number 5, and that is Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. I've heard this song. Elijah's heard this song. My dog has heard this song. It's been on the top charts for 48 weeks now. So shout out to The Weeknd for staying on the top 10. He's in the top 5 after being on there for 48 weeks.
Roads on there?
Oh, that one was on there forever. But this song, it's crazy to me. I remember this song came out right as COVID sort of started, and it's at number 5 on the Billboard. I just can't believe that. The Weeknd is very popular, so let's take a listen right now. All right, so we just listened to The Weeknd's Blinding Lights. Like I said, this is a very popular song. I've heard this several times on the radio in the past 6 months. This song's been out for a while. Actually, I looked here, and it came out November 22nd of 2019, which I think this song has almost been out for a full year.
It's like when we released White Noise.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Back in the day.
It does feel like a long time ago, though. But
it does.
But this song, I want to look at this song, and I want to try to remember this song like the first time I heard it. Okay? Because I've heard this song a lot, and it gets tiring to hear this song. It's been on the top charts for 48 weeks.
Yeah,
so
I get that.
Everybody's heard it a billion times. So I want to look at this song like it's the first time I listened to it. And I remember the first time that I did listen to this. A friend recommended it to me in March, about a week after COVID really hit big in the U.S. And so I started listening to this song. It was one of the first songs of the coronavirus pandemic that I listened to. And so when I first heard this song, I thought it was really cool. I think The Weeknd has a really cool vibe. I don't really like using the word vibe, but I think that it works here. It applies here. It has a very 80s, 90s feel to it.
Yeah.
That I enjoy. I enjoy 80s music a lot. So
I wrote down
this.
I wrote down 80s nostalgia and vaporwave. And I think this song hits well right now because of 80s nostalgia. I think we're on the sort of we're coming out of it, but for a really long time we were stuck. And I'm not mad about it. I really love the 80s, but we really had a strong nostalgia for the 80s, like with Stranger Things and just a lot of our musical stylings. Like even Taylor Swift was hitting on that 80s style.
True.
And it's got music is very much like that, and I really enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie, and this is the first time I've really listened to it. So I might listen to this one some more.
I mean, you've listened to it on the radio, or you've heard parts of it, I'm sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've listened to it before, but like this is the first time I've really tuned in to listen to it.
The lyrics and stuff. That's what I want to talk about, because no song is perfect, and this song is not perfect.
Oh, I agree.
the lyrics are not impressive to me at all.
I want to say though, with the lyrics, I wrote lyrics not bad. I said they're kind of typical. They talk about things that are just typical stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not. I can't complain because we were talking about positions like 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago now probably, and that's much worse. I'm like, if that's the bad end, I think this probably lines up closer to the good end. It's not bad.
It's not completely about sexual topics, and so it's that helps when listening to it. I think that it's very repetitive. The lyrics just aren't there for me. But I really love, and the first time I listened to this, I loved the beat, the music, all of it there is really good. The lyrics just aren't amazing to me, and that's not a terrible thing. I think that it's cool that the music is getting out there and it sounds cool. It's just not. It's not the most impressive song The Weeknd has ever done.
I think one thing I like about this song is when it's done being on the front and center, I will be happy to hit play on it. I'll be like, I like this song. Because for me, when something gets played on the radio constantly, it's like, man, I've heard this. It's okay, but I've heard it so many times. Like, the same thing with a ton of Imagine Dragons songs. It's like, this song was super good, and now I can't listen to it. But like now, I'll turn on Believer. I'm like, it's not the same as it was when I first heard it, but I like it, but it's just not the same. And it's because of the radio and how it's so overplayed. And I think that's what could happen to this.
I totally agree. I love the Imagine Dragons thing you used there, because I think that the song Demons by Imagine Dragons was super popular several years ago. That would have been 8 years ago when that song came out.
Yeah.
It was super, super popular, and it was a good song. I liked the song when it was popular, but it got annoying after a while because everybody was listening to it. Everybody was making parodies of it. You had your, everything. But if you go back and listen to that song, it's a good song. And you won't be disappointed. It's a good song.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not annoying to me anymore.
That entire album for me is good. But when it came out, it was like, man, I've heard all these so many times.
I agree. And I think that's, like you said, what's going to happen with this song. Give it a few years. Let it be off the radio for a while. If you come back to this, if it's randomly on a playlist or something that you're listening to on Spotify, I don't think you're really going to press skip, to be honest with you, here in a few years. It's a good song. It's a good beat, and it's a cool song. I'm just kind of tired of it at the moment.
You were talking about the intro. I'm like, I really like the way he goes from like just synth, and then all of a sudden it just kind of slowly, gradually turns into this beat song with like the fast, drums, like the 80s beat sound. And I really like the way the song's made and all of that. And I just think sometimes the radio can kill music.
Yep, I totally agree. And that's really pretty much all I have to say about this one. It's not anything crazy that we need to talk about. It's a cool song. A lot of people have heard it several times, and so they know what the song is. And so I think we can move on. And so we're done with our top charts songs for right now. For this week's episode, we're going to go into some little extra things that we have for the rest of the show. The next part we have is we're going to do a reaction song. So we are going to take a look at a song that we were told about. And once again, we can't play this song on the podcast, but if you want to go ahead and pause here in just a second and listen to it and then come back and hear our reaction to it,
you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, we listened to a few minutes of it, and it's an interesting song. So go ahead and here in a second.
It's called The Mind Electric, and the artist is, I don't know, it's a bunch of letters in like Korean.
Yeah, some other language. So,
and it's in the album Hawaii Part 2.
So what's the song called again?
The Mind Electric.
The Mind Electric.
Don't get it confused. There is a song on YouTube that shows a verse called The Mind Electric, but it's probably the second one. You gotta look for the album cover that has like palm trees and it says Hawaii Part 2.
So go ahead and pause right now and go ahead and listen to that song, and then you can come back and listen to our reaction.
Because that's what we're going to do right now. So, if you listen to it, hopefully you listen to the right one. Because, there's the song's called The Mind Electric, and the one we listened to is by somebody, I think they're probably from Korea or something, because their name's in another language. But, basically, they took this song called The Mind Electric by Miracle Musical, and they played it. They played it in reverse. Yeah. And then about halfway through, they switch it back to forward. And I think there's a couple other additions that they do, and it's essentially a remix, but it's it's something else.
It's crazy. I want to tell you that I looked this video up. And the description, the first thing in the description, everything except for the description is just links to their album and a seizure warning to this song because
Is this the original or the one we listened to?
Yeah, this is the one that goes backwards and then forwards in the middle. And so it's showing you the words backwards and it's like flipping through them really fast with blinding light. And it's something different. I'll tell you that.
So there's a video for it too. I didn't know that.
This is a weird song. It's not anything that you would listen to in the car to get you hyped up. It's definitely just an oddity song that someone might find on the internet somehow and listen to it and you're like, oh, that's a cool idea. I don't ever want to hear that again because it's kind of weird to listen to.
Is it even music? Is it even... Is it? Is it anything?
What is it?
That's
really, what is it?
That's the question.
And the thing to me is I think it's music. I think the first original song is kind of interesting. It's a slow song. It's not really what would be popular nowadays, but then they make it backwards and then go forwards, which is interesting. It's like Tenet. It's Tenet in a song.
But it's just a palindrome. But the funny thing is like, was there a real point to this? No. There wasn't.
Yeah,
There's no point.
It was just a fun song that they made, and it's there to listen to if you ever wondered what that would sound like.
I gotta admit, like, he's got an album called Hawaii Part 2, and there is no Part 1. And he's got another album called Variations on a Cloud. Yeah, he's an artist.
Yeah.
But you can't search him because you have to have a Korean keyboard or Chinese, something like that. Maybe Japanese. Maybe that's Japanese. I'm not really sure.
So, I mean, that's really... There's not a whole lot to talk about in this song because it's kind of simple. Other than it being backwards for the first 3 minutes of it and then forwards the last 3 minutes of it.
I gotta say though, that the original song, you can listen to that. I kind of like that one.
It wasn't great, but it was, it was music. It was definitely music.
I think it's catchy, and it's like the original is like something weird combined with Mr. Blue Sky.
Yeah.
And I think it does that well.
Mixed with like a choir. because they have a very
Well, Mr. Blue Sky has that too.
strange. Well, I guess that's true.
I think, but it's Mr. Blue Sky combined with something, and whatever that is, they do it pretty well. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so it's an interesting song. It's there if you want to take a listen to it. That's pretty much it for that song. There's not a whole lot else we can talk about because it's pretty simple, but it's fun. It's something I'd never heard before, a style that I'd never heard before.
So let's move on then to our next segment. And this is called Artists to Watch. So what we're talking about is upcoming artists that we've found some way, somehow, and we think you should keep an eye out for them because I think my artist is going somewhere. So I'll say, and then you say what yours is, and then we'll describe. So I wrote Half Alive. I think they're an artist that we should be looking out for.
Mine, I went with a rap style. I am into a little bit of rap music, and I went with Aaron May. I love J. Cole, and so how I would describe this guy is pretty much a mix between J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, and then he adds his own little style into it. I really, really like the sound of this guy.
Is he a rapper
specifically? Yeah, I would say he's a rapper. He does a lot of rapping like J. Cole, where it's not necessarily speed. It's just, he's got some words. He's got some different styles of saying things.
Does he sing at all?
But he does also sing. His choruses usually are sung.
Is he a good singer?
He is an okay singer. His singing is not amazing. It's not anything spectacular.
He gets it done.
But he gets it done. And I think that he's going to be very, very popular. He's going to have one song that just one day blows up and is just, I think he's going to be popular. I think he has a style that a lot of people like. And so that's who my artist to watch is. Why do you think that Half Alive is a good artist to watch?
So I've been looking into them because they have two songs. No, wait. Do they have a single or is it just two songs? I don't know. They have like two songs. I think that, yeah, they have two or three songs in a EP, and then they have an album. And that's us right now. And sure. I think they are super interesting to me because they combine, and we talked about this earlier with what's his name, Blinding Lights or whatever.
Oh, The Weeknd.
Yeah, and they have an interesting musical style that kind of combines like 80s and 70s styles with modern music, and I think that is genius right now because I think whereas we had that 80s nostalgia, I think we're starting to move towards 70s nostalgia, which to me, I don't know if I'm excited for that, but these guys do that 70s style and 80s style super well, and they combine it with new stuff in a really intriguing way. And one thing I really like about their music style is that they aren't afraid to do some wacky stuff. Like one of their songs called Creature, at the end you have the drums are playing a rhythm that is not in time necessarily. The thing is, the way they play it still sounds in time. It's interesting because the guy starts singing the line and then the drums come in, and the drums come in on like a slightly different either time signature or tempo, so it's not really in line with the singing, but at the same time it creates this sort of interesting dissonance in the rhythm that is kind of unexpected and interesting to listen to. So yeah, keep an eye out for Half Alive. Also, their music video game is really good. They are these pasty white dudes, but they can dance like really well. Does he have any music videos?
I haven't taken a look at any of his music videos. I was just recommended to him by a friend and took a look at him. I am a huge J. Cole fan, and so I really like the style that Aaron May has. And so that's really our two artists had in common was that they really are pretty much the same sort of style as other artists, but they just know how to make music, and they're a little bit different with their style. Have Alive is very much like AJR or 21 Pilots. It's pretty similar style to that, which is not a bad thing. Those are both very successful groups. And then, like I said, J. Cole is like Aaron May. So, that's why I think we put these guys on our artists to watch, because they sound a lot like other very successful artists, and I think that means something when they add a little bit of their own style to it.
How much music does your guy have?
Aaron May has one album called Chase, and then I think he has a few other EPs, so he's very new, but
nice.
I think one of his songs does have 1 million views on YouTube.
Wow.
But yeah, so these are two upcoming stars that hopefully we will see in the future
doing something.
Yeah, have good the
careers. Hard thing is it must be frustrating as an artist. Either it can really help you or really hurt you. I think it helped us was this whole COVID crisis, because we kind of had time to do stuff. I think it could hurt a lot of artists that are already out there, because if you're supposed to be out doing shows, it's like, well, now what do we do?
Yeah, exactly.
I think artists I think Half Live's probably looking into doing stuff. I don't know. They have some upcoming show I was looking at, but I don't know.
So, yeah, that's pretty much what we got for artists to watch. You can go take a look at some of those guys' songs. Elijah mentioned some of the Half Alive songs that he likes that you can go listen to. And so we're just going to wrap the show up real quick with one last little session. And our last thing that we're going to talk about is the worst song of the week. So this is going to be a fun little ender. Honestly, don't take this too seriously. These songs, we're just going to give our reasons on why we think these songs are...
They're pretty bad.
Bad or dumb.
You did it.
And if you like these songs, keep liking them. These are just our random opinions. So, everybody likes something different, but here's what we got for our worst songs. So I'm going to start off with mine, and my song is actually by Dan and Shay, and it's called I Should Probably Go to Bed. I have heard this one on the radio, on a pop radio, actually. I don't know. Have you heard this song before?
No, I haven't.
You will know these guys' style. I think they're a little bit like Rascal Flatts, if Rascal Flatts was not as good. They definitely feel like they stole a lot of the style. They're very bad country music, and it's just these two guys singing in really high voices. Country music, it's just not good. It's not good. But this song was like the third or fourth song I heard from them that got popular, and they have the same style, and there's different stuff that you'll hear if you listen to their songs where it's just the same thing. It sounds like the same song in different parts. They're just not separating any of their songs. And so I would say that for me this week, the worst song that I listened to was this song. Granted, I've listened to a lot worse songs in my life, but this week, this was the worst one that I listened to. This was the one where I was like, this is not a good song. This is not a well-made song. They make pretty much the same song with a little bit different and then produce like 4 or 5 of them. And so that's what I had for my worst song.
What does this song like? Tell me about what is it like?
Well, I haven't really looked into the lyrics because I listened to it and I was like, what I listened to off of face value was not anything I was interested in at all. But it's basically just saying he doesn't need to be up late at night talking to a girlfriend or ex-girlfriend about stuff. He just needs to go to sleep and not say things that he's gonna regret in the morning. So it's kind of a different message. It's not a terrible message, but musically wise, it's not a good song. It's not cool. It's not anything new, anything special. It's very much like all their other songs.
What are their other songs like?
I think the first popular one I listened to was Tequila.
Oh,
if you've heard
tequila.
Yeah, When I Taste Tequila, and they just have some of the same styles where they just sing the same way in both songs. So I just find that kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But let's move on to your worst song because I have seen it and I know the song.
I want to point something out before I say mine. That we're gonna be picking songs not based on like what like comes out that week. So it's not gonna be like anything new. It might be something really old, but we'll find a new one every week, and it's just gonna be something that we're like, this is so bad. And so mine, and every time Nate gets into my car, not every time, but most of the time, he starts playing this one. I'm like, why? This is so bad. And it's called Father Stretch My Hands.
By the way, I want to say that it's not because I enjoy this song. I think it's just funny to listen to it because it's so bad. It's so bad.
And it's by Kanye West. I can't tell you to go look it up, probably, like, in good conscience.
No,
and it's
don't look this song up. Don't look this song up.
It's funny to me that something like this gets made because it's like, how do you write these lyrics and then make a song out of it? And then, is he a featured artist or is he the main artist?
Yeah, so I think he has somebody in this one. There's a girl that sings in it. No, he does not have her actually listed as a feature. He's just the main singer of it. I don't think it's Kim. I don't think it's Kim. This is pre-Kanye, Christian Kanye.
That's the biggest reason why it's so bad.
It's very bad.
So let me point something out. The music in this one is so like weird. Like it's typical rap kind of, but at the same time it's just sort of weird. And then there's like this bass drop, and then just suddenly Kanye just starts talking about this just bad, messed up, inappropriate experience that he had.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you like to look it up, but if you hear it ever on accident, you will know exactly what I mean.
Yes.
And you will be like, oh.
Yeah, you will be disturbed. It's one of those things that just no one should ever tell another human being about something that happened. And
I want to say though, Kanye West, he wrote this before getting changed, and so, man, this stream of consciousness is bad. But I want to say I'm a fan of Kanye now. I think he's made a big turnaround, especially looking at this song. You're like, oh, if that's the worst. But he's got
Kanye
the best now.
Kanye has changed. Kanye's come a long ways because this song compared to Closed on Sunday is there's a big gap in between those. But yeah, so that's really what's gonna do it for the show. I hope you guys join us next week for our next podcast. And you've been listening to Unsure on Air. See you guys next week.
Thanks again for listening to Unsure on Air. Be sure to tune in to YouTube. We will post this podcast and up there. And be sure to check out On the Money lyric video, which is the first song in our newest album, Romance and Other Things We're Unsure About. So be sure to check out that video and check out all of our music. And thanks again for listening.